Hi, everyone. This is Krisha Young here coming at you on this video. And I'm an executive coach and I do deep dive transformational coaching for high performing, that type A person and people so that you can maximize your serving potential. So the kind of work that I do, I generally work with C-suite individuals, entrepreneurs, executives, CEOs, doctors, lawyers, professionals, right? High performing, type A individuals, because I know a lot about that. um, helping you eradicate all of the stuff that's in your way, your sabotages, the mindset, the beliefs, the habits, the lifestyle things, the people pleasing, all of that kind of stuff that's in your way, so that you can really truly step up and be an even more amazing leader in your space and serve the way that you really truly are meant here to serve. So if there's any disconnect between, where you are now and where you believe you have the capacity to be, I am somebody who can help you traverse that and get to that place. So today, what I wanted to talk to you about is my 5-step process that I take my clients through to go from a low vibration to a high vibration, to go from feeling fearful or anxious or worried into feeling, super empowered and courageous and strong. The thing is that, fear and shame and any of those lower vibrational energies aren't wrong. They just are. And what the concern is that if you spend too much time in those energies, what starts to happen, or if you only ever see life from that lens, what starts to happen is that you manifest results from that lens. And also, if you have that lens, the lens of fear, the lens of worry, the lens of scarcity, the lens of I'm not enough, I can't have or whatnot, then that is all you see, right? So the most amazing opportunity can be coming your way and you might not be able to see it because you're mired in those belief systems and all of that. And believe me, I know this, that was, I lived in a lifetime in that belief system and with that particular lens on. And there were a lot of really amazing things that got through because my higher self was also along for the ride. And but the belief system that was subconsciously running the show was also creating a lot of things in my life that I was like, why, what? That's not what I want. That's not how I want to see this thing. And so, working on those internal belief systems and the shadow beliefs and the blind spots that you just can't see, you can't see them. It's why you haven't been able to transcend it, because you can't see it. And transcend, if that's an unfamiliar word for you, what that means is just get over sounds like negative. It's not really something to get over, but that's kind of what it means, right? Like to transcend. In another video, I talked about how when you are hitting up against a terror barrier, when you're hitting up against the scary parts that you don't want to see, when you can surrender into it, it dissolves, and then you're able to move past it and shed that belief and shed that limiting belief and that pattern and whatnot. So that's what's meant by transcend or get over, so that it's no longer something that takes you out anymore, where you have so much awareness of it. So the first step in this is awakening, right? What happens is you awaken. And right now we're in the middle. Well, I don't know. Let's just say it's the middle of coronavirus, because if it's in the middle, that means it's going to get better soon, right? It's March. I don't know what date it is. I don't know, March 23rd or 24th or something like that, 2020, as I'm recording this. And right now the world is in a very big unknown. It's like the emoji, I don't know. And right now we all have an opportunity. You know, there's a gamut of what is being experienced right now. And there are some people who are experiencing some really, really, really negative, bad, like heart-wrenching things around this virus. And then there's people who are experiencing some really amazing things around this virus, right? So I'm here not to address those who are in the dire straits. I'm here to address those who are in the latter portion of the spectrum, who whose purpose could be to then go and help those people. So my purpose on the planet and what I'm here for is to support humanity at that level, so that you can go out and do your purpose and you can go out and serve in your way, right? And so one of your ways of serving might be to start a charity or start a foundation or something like that, in order to be able to help these people who are at the lower end of the spectrum. But you're not doing it because you have a belief system or something that's in your way. You've got some fear, you've got the storyline that says you can't, you shouldn't, who are you to do it, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff that's in your way. And so what I'm here to do is help you move that out of your way so that you can go and do that work and support the people who you're meant here to support, okay? So that's the bigger picture, my bigger why. And also, you know, I mean, just living your fully expressed self on this planet is so important for me. It really bothers me when I see people with so much potential just not tapping into it, not giving themselves the chance to do that, right? So awakening is part of that, right? And this is where you might be in a stage of, okay, looking around you going, now we have this time of quiet, in a way, this solitude, this isolation, and it's an opportunity for us to really look at our lives and say, this is working amazing, but this is not so much. And, you know, what is your bigger vision, right? What's the bigger vision? What's been in your way of achieving this bigger vision? And if I'm looking down, it's just because I have some notes here so I don't go too far off track. And if we want to look at it with coronavirus, we can look at this as an opportunity, right? Not being victim to it. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. So like many entrepreneurs, I don't know what the future of my business is going to be like. And I'm okay with that, because I work on being okay with that every day, right? It doesn't mean I don't have the fear. It doesn't mean that I don't have the holy crap, oh my God. It's just, I don't stay there, right? If I stayed in the worry and I stayed in the, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm so worried. My business is falling apart. This is happening. This is happening. Nobody's doing this. That's not happening. If I stayed there 24/7, which I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs are in that space, you have to realize that what that is doing is sort of like sending out a message to future you, and what the end of this is going to be like for you, right? And I don't want that to happen for you. I don't want that to happen for me, and I don't want that to happen for you. And that's why I'm creating all of this content right now, because what I want is for you all to realize that you have control over this. You've got control over your life. You've got control over your thoughts. It's like the only thing that we have control over is what goes on up here and what goes on over here, right? And so awakening to whatever that knock is that's been knocking on your door since before coronavirus, is something that you need to pay attention to now, and look at this all as an opportunity. Is it an opportunity for you to pivot? Have you been like, I don't even want this anymore? It's now the opportunity for you to be able to look at your life and look at things in a whole new way. Look at how you can serve in a whole new way that maybe you've always wanted to, right? And yes, this is a perfect time to do it. Perfect time, because you have the time. So awareness is the second step. And this is awareness of our self-sabotaging behaviors, awareness of our blind spots, awareness of how we show up in the world, how we don't show up in the world, awareness of what we're saying to people, how we are being, right? And what happens a lot of the time is especially with high performing people, because you're super freaking smart and you read a lot of books and you listen to a lot of podcasts and you research and you're very well educated. But what can happen is it's all cognitive and it doesn't actually become embodied. So you could be sitting here listening to me going, yeah, I know. You're not telling me anything I don't already know. Okay. But what are your results? So if the results in your life are not matching with what you know, then what's happening is there's a dissonance, a cognitive dissonance between what you're thinking and how you're being. And you can't see it because it's a blind spot. So this is awareness. And this is, part of the work that I do with my clients is helping them become aware. So let's become aware of how you're showing up. And if there is a disconnect between what you think should be happening in your life and what's actually happening, there's a disconnect there, clearly, right? And that disconnect is usually a pattern, a subconscious pattern, a belief system, something that's in your way. Also, I would say in the coronavirus context, let's not get it twisted here and only look at facts, okay? When it comes to the news, when it comes to what's going on with the virus, when it comes to spreading information about what's going on, let's only share things that are true, that are facts, and only, get our information from factual places, right? Again, we're intelligent people. We know this. However, even I get caught up in that. A couple of weeks ago, I heard, somebody had rumored that 800 people had died in Italy overnight, and that wasn't true. And at that time, and I had taken that in as like, oh my God, that's awful. And my energy shifted and the way I was thinking shifted and all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I was like, wait, I got to do my own research here. And it was like, no, that's not true at all. That didn't happen that night. It affected my energy levels and it affected how I was showing up in the world off of one small rumor. So just be careful about that, okay? The next one is affection and acceptance. So, a lot of this work is learning how to love yourself and learning to meet yourself, right? Like we are so deeply conditioned. It's ridiculous. And this is why I love human design, because human design allows us to be able to see who we are. And anybody who works with me gets a full human design reading because we get to see who we are without all this conditioning. And conditioning, if you're not familiar with that term, is basically all the stuff that's like, the stuff that your parents told you about who you are or who you weren't, the arguments you witnessed between people, what teachers said about you, what society says, what television says, like women should look a certain way is conditioning, right? We know this, again, cognitively, but we've got these subconscious things that are running the show that cause us to act out in certain ways. So when we have affection and acceptance of who we are, including the parts that we don't want to see, then we can start to really love ourselves. And when we can look at those parts with love and compassion, which is not easy to do, especially if you're somebody who's so used to beating yourself up, self-flagellation, hi, queen of that. I'll take that crown any day. I'll take that crown off any day. It really allows you to be able to lift the weight of the heaviness of the shame and the fear and the guilt, which are all low vibration energies, so that you can get to courage and you can get to acceptance and you can get to love and then joy, which is a very, very, very high vibration, right? Not easy. but it's totally possible to climb your way up through those things as you're working through it with affection and acceptance. Now, again, let's bring it to coronavirus. How can we look at this with affection and acceptance? I know for myself, I live downtown Toronto, and a couple times a week, I'm getting emotional thinking, but a couple times a week I go for my walk, and I'm like really sad. I'm really sad about not, like people distancing themselves. The physical distancing is actually really hurting my heart and my soul, because I am somebody who loves physical contact. It's one of my love languages. And having a constant reminder that we're not allowed to do that right now is breaking my heart. I understand why, of course. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be doing it. I'm just saying it's painful. And walking around and seeing all the stores closed and seeing the restaurants and seeing how it's impacting this city is hurtful. And the less I accept what's going on and say, no, 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 this isn't possible, like timeline, new timeline, new timeline, right? The harder it's going to be for me and you to like surrender into what's going on, so that we can think of new ways of managing this and mitigating it. Okay. So it applies there too. I'm getting a phone call. The next one is abundance. So this is how you effectively attract and manifest what it is that you desire, right? So we've had that awakening and that awareness, right? The awakening is that vision, and the awareness is what's in the way of that vision, and the acceptance and the affection is how to love yourself through this. And now we're able to call it in. Now we're able to lean into the feminine here, which applies to men and women. We're able to lean into the feminine, which is that surrender, which is that receiving, right? And to call in the new, to call in the things that you want going forward, that are no longer mired in these belief systems that have been keeping you stuck. You've closed the gap between that thinking mind and the being person. You've been able to close that gap and been able to create something new in your life going forward. And again, taking it to coronavirus, that's exactly what we have an opportunity to do right now. We have an opportunity to be able to take this and think about, what is it that, how do we want to emerge from this? It's like Phoenix rising from the ashes, right? How do we want to emerge from this? Do we want to emerge fearful, scared, worried, anxious, on prescription medication, and like in a worse financial position? Or do we want to emerge like calm, centered, clean, scrubbed up inside, tapped into our purpose, tapped into our higher self and our higher meaning here, and with a complete awareness of how we sabotage ourselves, and in a better financial position than what we were before, right? That's all available to all of us, right? So that's it. And then we have ascension. So this is where you are now on the other side of this, and you're able, you've stepped through, and now you're looking at things with that different lens, right? So instead of looking at things with all that fear and scarcity and worry and anxiety and all of that kind of stuff that's really stopping you, and I know it feels so real, it's not. It's a thinking mind construct, and it feels so real. I know it does. And when you're able to finally take that off and put on this, that's like, okay, it's more grounded, it's more centered, it is more stable. And you're looking now at the world through that lens. Imagine how differently things are going to show up for you and look for you in the future. So this is like somebody who knows who she is, who knows who he is. What your blind spots are, right? What are the things that have been holding you back this whole entire time? And you are a victor, not a victim to the circumstances. we all have this opportunity right now, and I myself am doing this work daily, minute by minute, hour by hour, and nobody's immune to it. We all have a chance right now to really be able to step into our greatness. And those are the steps that, after doing this work for 5, 6 years now, working with hundreds of people, that's what it takes. That's the process. You start with that awakening, then you go into that awareness, then you go into that affection, right, and acceptance, and then you go into the abundance part of things, where you're allowing in the things that that you really want, and you're not sabotaging them anymore. And then you ascend, this is why my programs are Ascended Woman, Ascended Man, right? Because that's what this is all about. It's ascending into the best version of yourself possible. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for this planet. And I've known for a long time intuitively that something's been coming, and I feel that this is it, or this is the beginning of it. And I'm really honored and excited to be able to serve people in this time, whoever needs it, whoever's ready for it, to take this journey and take these steps. And because the world needs us right now, like the world needs leaders right now. And if that's you, if you're a leader and you're stuck and you're mired in some stuff right now, in burnout, in self-doubt, in any of these like patterns of behavior that are keeping you stuck, we don't have time for that anymore. We look at the world. We need you. Okay? We need your magic. We need you to step up. We need you to be the person that you are meant to be. And that means that you need to move these things aside, work on them, and emerge stronger than ever. And that's what I'm here for, is to help you with that. Okay. So if this is something that you're looking at right now, feel free to reach out. In the meantime, connect with me, respond to this video, let me know what you thought about these 5 steps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Connect with me anytime. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and my website, KrishaYoung.com. I was just going to give you my email address, which is Krisha@KrishaYoung.com. If you want to send me an email, you're more than welcome to do that. And my website is KrishaYoung.com, KrishaYoung.com. Thank you. The world needs you. Your family needs you. You need you. It's time. It's time.